welcome home. It's Irish Family History with curious news and notes, celebrating our 4th year of this podcast at the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. One of 6 broadcast series from the Hedge School at IrishRoots.com. I'm Mike OLaughlin, your host, publisher of rare Irish books and information on every county in Ireland since 1978. Be sure to read our blog, complete with links to click on from this podcast, and search our master index and books for free. Molly, wet the tea, Katie, bar the door, Sweeney, clear that floor, and bring out the Irish dancers. It's time we get this show on the road. All right, it is there, and this is show number 183 of the Irish Family History Podcast at the Irish Roots Cafe, which really houses the Irish Hedge School, and there's going to be a lot about that in the next month or two. But now, among today's topics, we've got the family of the day is Stewart. The Irish county of the month is Londonderry or Derry, depending on your historical perspective. Searching for Tarper, Joyce, Acheson, and Hart. Curious news, how many Irish outhouses might there be now? Number 5, web page of the month, Northern Ireland links. Number 6, curious note, Ireland's most dangerous bridge. And number 7, the 1-minute podcast is going to be a Hedge School Lesson. Boy, that's a lot of good stuff. I don't know how we're going to cover it all in one show. I might have to do 2 of them today. That'd set a record, wouldn't it? Well, now let's take a look at my notes for today, things that are just happening around the cafe here. Now, the big news is that we're preparing for a launch of our Irish Hedge School online concept. And, of course, we've got a hedge school. We can make in-person presentations, too. So I'm making a call for students and for teachers even, you know what I mean. And we can do that online. We can do that in person. It just depends on where you're at. And, hey, remember one thing. We're merging all this, the Irish Roots Cafe and the Genealogical Foundation and the Hedge School. If you're a member of one, you're a member of all 3, so don't be confused about that. You'll get everything with one membership, no matter how you signed up, and it'll be an automatic member of the Hedge School if you're already a member. And we might even have a special thing where the first 100 new people to renew or sign up will be charter members. I think we ought to do a charter member thing. I'll work the details on that, and I'll be making a special podcast just on the Hedge School thing, and we're going to be teaching 6 subjects, and that's going to include genealogy and the history of Ireland and Irish in America and language and song. It's going to be a good one, and we're going to add a lot of things to the members area, and we're also going to keep keep the free pages, add some free pages. It's going to be better for everybody, and boy, I sure will need your help and support, and jump on in and join us and help out if you can, and I'll help you however I can. I'll even do a video for you if you have a special request. I think it's going to be real interesting. Now, next we've got our 1-minute podcast coming up, and that goes along with the theme I was just talking about. Okay, here's an excerpt from podcast number 13 of the Hedge School History podcast show. So listen to it and get a little feel for the Hedge School one more time. Well, that's exactly right. And you know, these old professional schools, they lasted till about 1641 in the coming of the penal days in Ireland, and they were really closed down in the 17th century when the great patrons of the schools, really the great families of Ireland, like the O'Neills up there in the north, all the great tribal leaders, they became homeless, or they were exiled, or they became part of the wild geese that had to leave the country, perhaps one day to return, but perhaps not. But they were the great people who pledged their monies, funds, and places to help the schools, and when they left, it destroyed the entire system. And that system was closer to a university-type system than the hedge schools will end up being. But as these Bardic schools ended, the Hedge schools would start to begin, and we'll talk about that in our next segment. And some of those teachers and some of those students might have migrated to those first early Hedge schools as a way to keep the tradition of learning alive. I'm just sure of that. And, of course, if we take a look at these Bardic schools, they started out as pagan and then became Christian. And, of course, they were also introduced into Christianity from the Roman traders and folks that came over from Wales, and, of course, Patrick himself. Now, the Bardic schools were secular. They taught in Irish, just as the Hedge schools did at first. They both taught in Irish. That was a point of pride. It was the only way you'd think of doing it. And the focus was on Irish language, Irish history, and the Brehon Law. Well, that's our excerpt for today, but you can hear the whole show if you go to the Irish Hedgerow History Lesson, and that's show number 13. If you go to that podcast and listen, you can get it from our webpage, you can get it from iTunes. Who knows where else you might get it, but that's it, and that's sort of a preview of what the Hedge schools were, and if you listen to that, you'll understand more. Listen to that whole series. Now we're coming up to the Book of the Month. Okay, you want to go to the blog to get all this information. I've got some big paragraphs on it there, and I can't get them all in this presentation audioly, but you can get more of it there. But the first book is County Derry, or Londonderry, Ireland, Genealogy and Family History Notes. That's part of our 34-book set on Irish family history that I've put out over the years. Now, this is volume 13 of the series. Is 13 a number, or am I just duplicating myself? Well, you'll be able to find it. Link is on the blog. Now, we give coats of arms and genealogical notes of the families. What were those families in Derry? Well, Cahan, McLaughlin, Alexander, Barry, and Bateman, and Beresford Ash, and Galt, and gosh, all kinds of names. You notice a lot of those names are not your standard Irish names. That's because they were settler names that came into Derry, and the Londoners made a plantation in Derry, and they made a little scheme out of it, and I've got that in a second book too, and that's Londonderry Lands and Families. That's part of the Conquest of Ireland 4-part set, but we sell it individually too in case you want to know it. And that covers English settlers from 1609 and some a little later and some history a little earlier. But it's a record of the events as they happened. And it says the infamous Londoners' plantation and settlement in Ireland, the Irish Seps' misplaced lands, and the misdeeds of some who took the land. Now, this is a hardbound volume, and it's also available, like I said, as part of that set. And it also talks about how the Londoners came to settle in Ireland and establish Londonderry, and they got the lands of Lochansholen, which had been previously belonged to Tyrone, and the old county of Coleraine, which had belonged to O'Cahan, don't you know, and a small portion of the county of Donegal. So if you want to learn about the history of that area and see some of the names and the people that came in and the people that got kicked out and the people that got persecuted maybe, but this was a prime example of the fall of local chieftains in Ireland. And, you know, the O'Cahan family, which also is known as Cain, and the Mullins or O'Mullins, and the Gilligans and the McCloskeys or McCluskey, they were all prime examples. And you're going to find things like O'Cahan was translated into Coo Valley, and O'Reilly became the Queen's O'Reilly. And Mr. Canning, we talk about him, and Gilbert of Walford, and check out the blog. I got a lot of details, but those are 2 books on Derry that you should have if you have any interest at all. Oh, and remember, we've got, this is the Family History Podcast. We've got 2 editions of it. One's regular audio and one's the enhanced podcast. And that's where we have photos come up on the screen if you have iTunes or QuickTime. And you can also click on those photos, and they'll take you to some places that we might be talking about on the air. We might end up making those for the Hedge School only. I'll have to think about that. For right now, they're both free on both sides of it, so take your pick. And coming up, we're going to talk about Ireland's most dangerous rope bridge, and St. Patrick's Day in Dublin has already begun. Now, here's time to raise our eyes skyward and give thanks. I'm going to have to hurry. Here are today's magnificent seven. New member Thomas Tarpey of Lancaster, New York, searching for Tarpey. Member Kathleen Fulcher, Irish Families Great and Small, has shipped to you. Welcome renewing member Ruth Stewart Narankic of Creston, California, looking for Stewarts and Achesons in Northern Ireland and Hines in Southern Ireland. Welcome new member Jean Peterson of Agora Hills, California, searching the Hart family from Ireland. Says her great-grandfather was Richard Hart and he married Lucinda Cassidy. Would like more on the Cassidy name as well. And 5, Rick Scott of Messina, New York, your Meath book shipped. Alice Edwards of Boulevard, Pennsylvania, your Tipperary book shipped. And Norina Hale of Plymouth, Minnesota, your County Antrim genealogy book is shipped. And I noticed that query on Cassidy. There are a lot of Cassidys in County Clare, and there were also a bunch of Cassidys up north in Northern Ireland, and they might have come down to Clare and joined up with the O'Laughlins down there, you know. At least that's what a wise man once told me who studied all that history. But check out our search list online. It's free. Just type your name in, and the books come up that they're in, and they'll tell you about the searches too. Hey, that reminds me to say thank you to each and every one of you, whether you're a member or just you're listening and spreading the word, or if you're buying our books. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do the podcast, would not be able to make the books. And sponsors are welcome and needed, and you're a sponsor whether you know it or not, because it keeps us moving. But be sure to let me know if you see something you need help with, or I might be able to help, or you give me a tip on something I can do better. I would be glad to do it. Now, the Irish family name of the day is Stewart. Now, you're going to find a lot of Stewarts in Ireland. Now, some people might look back in history and say, well, Stewart's a Scots name. Well, that's right. Most of those Stewarts came from Scotland, and they're Scots-Irish, so to speak. And you're going to see that there's several ways to spell the name. The most common is probably Stewart, but it could be A-R-D. And you'll also see quite a few Stewarts as Stuart. So be aware of that if you run into trouble researching the name. Now, this is in variant spelling groups number 1925 and 1933 from the Guide to the Various Spellings of Irish Family Names. I've got a link to that book on the blog. That can come in helpful especially if you're looking for several families, or you really have an interest in Irish names and spelling variations. Take a quick look at the history of the name. Families of the name Stewart in Ireland are assumed to be of Scots origin unless otherwise known, and it's among the top 10 names of Scotland, and that's why it's a settler name in the north of Ireland and in the province of Ulster in particular. Now, Stewart ranks as among the top 60 names in Ireland as well, so you can see they're starting to spread into Ireland pretty good. The 1890 birth index shows 255 births of the name in Antrim, Down, Londonderry, Donegal, and Tyrone. That shows you they're concentrated still up north there. And one book of interest is the genealogical and historical sketch of the Stewarts of Castle Stewart in Ireland by Stewart himself, Stuart. Stuart, and that was published in Edinburgh in 1954, and that's taken from the Book of Irish Families Great and Small. It's just a partial excerpt. Now let's take a look at the Irish family coats of arms from the Irish Book of Arms. Yes, they're in there, and the arms for Stewart are found in our edition of the Irish Book of Arms. We've got 8 listings for the name in that book, and several arms illustrated. You're going to see them. Those are for families found in Londonderry, Donegal, Tyrone, and Dublin. So several families are shown there, and lions and crowns seem to be very common when I'm looking at these illustrations now. That would hint at some type of royalty. I think if you know history, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, and coming up later this episode, we're going to talk about counting Irish outhouses. I wonder how many they are. And also the Linen Hall Library online. Just hold on to that. We're getting closer all the time. I think next we should take a look at a couple of references for the Stewart name in Ireland. We're going to take a look at our free online index and see just 7 examples of what comes up out of the hundreds. Well, let's see. We typed it in, and I typed it in there, and we'll see what kind of Stewarts are there. Now, number one, we've got Captain Stewart's Irish Brigade in Volume 7 of the Irish American Historical Society Journal. Number two, Stewart in Surnames of Ireland with 200 family name maps. Number three, Castle Stewart in County Tyrone Genealogy and Family History Notes. Number four, Stewart in the Names of Irish Passengers to America book. Number five, Andrew, Henry, James, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Stewart in County Tyrone, Ireland, Genealogy and Family History Notes. So quite a few specifics in that book. I bet they're in the census. Number six, Stewart arms are given in the families of County Donegal, Ireland as well. And number seven, Stewart's Fort is also found cited in the names in the land grants of Ireland. Several of them are cited in that book. So there's plenty. Anything has to do with the north of Ireland, you're going to find some Stewarts in there, especially after the 17th century. So remember to go and search for your family name on their website too. Just type the name in, click the button, and up comes all the books and all the county books that have your name, and that might tip you off to where the family's from. You never know. Now we're coming up to our next segment. Around the World in Irish Ways. Well, let's take a look at the web pages and the videos of the month. Number one, Charles Stewart Parnell, the uncrowned King of Ireland. And they even mentioned Kitty O'Shea. That was a famous little tryst there. If you look at Irish history or the scandal sheets, so you say, back in the day, that would be the 19th century. Got a link to YouTube on the blog for that video. Number two, a drive around Derry City, Ireland. You get a real feel for the city and the streets there. Number three, link on the blog to that video. Number three, the plantation and the city walls in Derry. And they mentioned that that's the first planned city in Northern Ireland. And the comments have been disabled on YouTube, as you might expect. There's still some political upheaval and disagreements, you might say, and the conversation gets more than lively on YouTube on comments, so that's why. But we're posting both sides of the story here, so it ought to be okay. Number four, County Derry and Northern Ireland genealogy links, and that's on cindyslist.com, which is just an amazing resource for links. You can't beat it, I tell you. That's going to be our webpage, one of our web pages of the month. Link on the blog. And we've still got our standard, 14, 15, 16 videos up, and that's my next project. As soon as the Hedge School gets rolling, I'm getting into those videos. We're going to do some special ones for our members, too. Now we're getting ready to come up to our last segment, everybody's favorite, Curious News and Notes from Ireland today. We'll see what I found. You never know what I might find, and sometimes I avoid the biggest stories because you've already heard them and everybody else has got them out there, so I might take stories that might be a little more eccentric at times, as hard as that is to believe. Here we go. Curious News and Notes. Number one, Carrick a Reed, a fearful rope bridge for tourists and everybody else, I think. Carrick a Reed. Link on the blog to this story, but it's the only offshore island to be reached by a terrible rope bridge that just strikes fear in the heart of many people that have to take it. So you ought to take, they've even got a picture on this article. It's interesting. Got it out of the Belfast Telegraph. Number two, this year's St. Patrick's Day in Dublin has already begun. They've launched the St. Patrick's Festival 2011 promotion. And of course, it doesn't actually happen until March 16th to the 20th, but the promotion is happening now, so you can see some things going on. The theme this year is going to be a short story by Roddy Doyle that was called Brilliant. And Ireland's literary heritage will be celebrated, and that's good. You know, it goes right along very well with a pint. And I think it's a grand idea. We should do more of that here in the States. We need balance now, don't you know? Link on the blog to that story. Number three, outhouses are still the norm for some 12,000 people in Ireland, according to a 2009 survey. And those without a bath or a shower number twice as many as that, which surprises me. I thought if you have one, you'd probably have the other. But now the house I am in, that I'm living in right now, Well, there were two outhouses here when my grandfather lived here, and maybe 40 years ago, but no longer, thanks to all the powers that be. But it hadn't been that long ago that this house had outhouse, so I can understand that if that's what they're doing. They may be going next door to the neighbors or down to the bowling alley. I don't know. But I tell you what, they also say in that survey that everybody in Spain has an indoor toilet. Not one person answered that they didn't have it. So I tell you, there's some interesting results to all these surveys. I wonder if you can believe them. Always tell the truth, they say. Hey, I saw it on Twitter. Lennon Hall's maps and images are now online, and that includes postcards and cartoons too. So, and that's a really, really good and famous library up in Northern Ireland. Number 5, link on the blog. Number 5, the Battle of Vinegar Hill, Australia's Irish Rebellion, 1804. I think it was Gould who put that up there on Twitter. And Gould Genealogy, yes, it was at gouldgenealogy.com. And they handle some of our books over there in Australia, so be sure to check them out too. And number 6, Voices of the Past. They interviewed me recently. They're really a unique group, and they do some work on the web. They interviewed me about sharing family history through new media and the blogs and the podcast and the different kinds of the podcast and why I got into family history in the first place and what I was doing and where I was living, all kinds of things. But it got personal, and we answered everything, and I've got a link on the blog to the page for the audio podcast, and a written version as well. And that's voicesofthepast.org. And I was interviewed. That played in January, so that's a pretty good deal. And that's all we got. We're out of time. What do you know? That's all for today, folks. Joseph, warm up those pipes. Remember, we have a broadcast series on Irish song and recitation, on local history of the Irish in America, and on 2,000 years of Irish history, as well as on the counties, and something special coming up on Irish language, I hope. We've got all that and more at our Hedge School at irishroots.com. And we've been known to appear, exhibit, teach, and even sing for your special events. Be sure to book in advance if it's important, and write me at my American address at Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri, 64116. Leave a message by phone at 816-256-3360. Reach me on my webpage at irishroots.com. Skype me at the Irish Roots Cafe. Get me on MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, and Irish Central. Members foot the bill so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.